Hi, and welcome back to the light. Today, we're going to continue with our deep dive into our icons, and we are going to review calculations. In general, this section controls how Parashara's light performs behind the scenes computations from Ayanamsa choices to specific classical calculation methods. Let's start diving into this. We're going to click on our red screwdriver and blue wrench, and we'll see our familiar window of icons pop up. Click on Calculations, and you will see the User Preferences Calculation tab opens up. The Calculation tab is pretty much smack in the middle of the User Preference pop-up window. And like always, we can also access it by going to Options and clicking on Calculation Options. And you see the same pop-up window opens up. You'll see there's two main sections here, Ayanamsa and Miscellaneous. Let's start off with Ayanamsa. In Vedic astrology, an Ayanamsa is the angular difference between the tropical zodiac used in Western astrology and the sidereal zodiac used in most forms of Indian astrology. The tropical zodiac keeps its 0 degrees Aries point fixed at what's called the vernal equinox, the sun's position at the start of spring in the northern hemisphere. This is in contrast to the sidereal zodiac, which ties its 0 degrees point to a fixed star position in the sky. Because of the precession of the equinoxes, which is a slow wobble in the Earth's rotational axis, the tropical zodiac gradually shifts relative to the stars by about 1.4 degrees every 100 years. And this causes the Ayanamsa value to change slightly each year. In Parashara's light, the Ayanamsa setting tells the software how much to subtract from tropical planetary positions to get to the sidereal positions. Different Ayanamsa systems, Lahiri, Raman, Krishnamurti, etc., use slightly different reference points for where 0 degrees Aries should be placed in the stars, leading to a small difference in chart calculations that can create a monumental difference in divisional charts, daśās, transits, leading to drastic interpretational differences. Before we dive into all the different Ayanamsas, what does it actually mean when we change it? What happens? When you change it, you're essentially shifting the sidereal zodiac reference points. We look a little bit more nitty gritty, it means in the main birth chart, the planetary degrees and signs will shift slightly depending on your Ayanamsa you select. All of the divisional charts will be recalculated since they're derived from the birth chart. The daśās, the Vimshottari, the Chara, and other dasha systems are based on planetary positions, so the timing and the sequence of periods can change. The transits, planet to planet and planet to house aspects will differ, affecting predictions and event timing. Shadbala and basic calculations, including Digbala, Pakshabala, Ashtagavargas, will be recalculated because the planetary longitudes have shifted. And special points like the Aruda Lagna, Golika, Mandi, and other derived points will change as well. Mafurtha and electional calculations will adjust to the new positions. In short, any astrological tool in Parashara's light depends on the planet's sidereal longitude, and this will be impacted. You can think of changing the Ayanamsa like moving the starting line in a race. The track hasn't changed, the runners haven't changed, but the shifting starting point means everyone's position is different. In astrology, this equates to meaning all the planets are still the same in the sky, but their degrees and placements have shifted. Trying different Ayanamsas can be a great learning tool. You can see how the chart changes and how your shifts might influence your reading and interpretation. If we go back to the specific Ayanamsas listed on the left side, Lahiri is the most widely accepted and default choice for most Vedic astrologers. If you're new to Vedic astrology, I'd recommend sticking with Lahiri until you get more familiar and develop a level of expertise in chart readings. Where it says Nun or Sayana, this is the tropical zodiac. Yukteswar, Raman, Basin, Krishnamurti, Krishnamurti New, Chutritra, and Usha Shashi are other Ayanamsas that you're certainly welcome to try. Lahiri is the default Ayanamsa that most Vedic astrologers use. Where it says specify offset refers to if you are working with a different tradition or system, you can enter an Ayanāṃśa offset in degrees, minutes, and seconds, and this lets you create a custom Ayanāṃśa or fine-tune an existing one. Take a look at the PDF, and I've explained each of these Ayanāṃśas in details. For the most part, they vary on the fixed star and its location. Now we're going to move to the right side of the pop-up window where it says Miscellaneous. The Miscellaneous section is where you'll find all fine-tuning tools for Parashara's light. These settings adjust how certain calculations are done, things like Mercury's role in strength tables, special daśās or waterfall methods, sunrise calculations, and more. Most users won't need to tweak these often, but it's good to know they're there if you do want to customize the software. Similar to the Ayanamsas, if you're just getting started with Vedic astrology, my advice is to keep the miscellaneous settings exactly how they are in the default positions. And once you've spent more time with charts and learned what these items mean, you can come back and experiment. For each of the miscellaneous settings, I've also included in the PDF user-friendly definitions of what they mean. Let's take the first one, Mercury's nature for Parashara. Well, what is Parashara? Parashara is part of Shadbala, which means 6 strengths. It's a system in Vedic astrology that scores how strong or weak a planet is by looking at 6 different types of strength. This first line, Mercury's nature for Parashara, is deciding if Mercury is treated as a good guy or a troublemaker when measuring light-based strength. You can see here the default is Mercury is treated as a malefic if it is with a malefic like the Sun, Mars, Saturn, or Rahu and Ketu. The second one is the 4th, 10th house in Digbala. Digbala is directional strength. It's about how strong a planet is depending on which direction it sits in your chart. Here you can use whether to use the kendras, in this case the 4th and 10th house, or the exact house cusps, which are precise degree points for the 4th and 10th house. You can think of it like measuring from the center of a room versus measuring from a specific corner. Both will give you a strong spot, but they'll land in slightly different spaces. I've explained the remainder of these drop-downs in the PDF with user-friendly explanations that'll help you understand these better. And as a reminder, you can just leave them as they are for right now, but I did want to go over this section so you're aware of what it is. And once you develop a level of expertise, you're certainly welcome to experiment and play with them. And that's a wrap for the calculations. As you can see, small tweaks make big differences in interpretation and how you can read the chart. If you're not sure, it's perfectly fine to stick to the defaults. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next lesson and keep shining your light.